Miss Adamson, I read all about the trial, and I know what you claimed. Now I think it's up to me to make up my own mind.
I'm sorry. I just don't want anyone else to get hurt.
Come on, Sonny. I don't think there's any more that you can say. Come on. Come on.
What was that all about? Do you have any idea?
No, but Sonny certainly seemed upset.
That girl she was talking to with the blonde hair. She works at Channel 6.
She's Stephanie's latest temporary secretary. You know, Sonny's changed so much in the last few months.
I guess anybody who would have went through what she did.
Yeah, but I can't help remembering what she used to be like. I mean, she was so self-assured and confident. She was one of the few people that could hold her own with Stephanie. You should have heard some of their battles. Now she seems so fragile.
She'll get her confidence back one of these days.
I hope so.
I know so. Even doctors will tell you that sometimes very sick patients will get better just from the feeling that somebody's there, that somebody's caring. My brother cares about Sonny a lot.
So Hogan's going to save the day, huh? It's always a McCleary to the rescue.
Even when someone doesn't need rescuing. Like you.
I'm sorry, Cagney. Everything you've done for me was out of kindness and decency. And I don't mean to put that down.
But what is it?
Well, I guess I've just had an attack of conscience. I told a couple of people today you were the father. It's not easy to lie.
I guess I have to take the blame for putting you in that position. It never would have occurred to you to lie until I opened my mouth to Warren and started this whole thing.
Nobody held a gun to my head. It was my choice not to tell the truth. Now I have to live with that.
How did it come up?
Stephanie wanted to warn me that Wendy had told her you were the father. So I said you were.
Did you believe it?
I wasn't very convincing. Then I saw Wendy, and she wants to believe so badly that you're the father. And when I told her you were... Well, you saw what happened.
She acted as if she'd just been appointed the godmother. You and Stephanie are pretty close. Why do you feel you couldn't level with her?
I love Stephanie, but I cannot always trust her. I mean, she somehow manages to let things slip out despite all her good intentions. But like when Wendy found out that I was pregnant. Still, I feel so guilty lying to her.
Did you feel guilty with Wendy?
Oh, Wendy. All Wendy wants is us safely married off. I mean, so that we're a nice, out-of-the-way, happy family. You and me and the baby.
She thinks we're getting married?
She assumed we were. I didn't tell her that. Cagney, look, I'm very glad about your promotion. But I don't feel very much like celebrating. Maybe we should go.
Are you sure you want to?
No, I'm not sure about anything. Look, don't get caught up in any misguided efforts to spare my feelings, okay? Just tell me, please, if you want out of this.
I don't want out of anything. All I want is to take the hurt out of those eyes.
Susie does not lie. She doesn't lie when she was a little girl. She doesn't lie now.
Well, that's what I always thought until she looked me straight in the eye and told me that Cagney McCleary was the father of her child.
When did she say that?
Oh, I see she hasn't told you that. What'd she tell you, that Warren Carter was the father of her child?
I think you know me well enough, Stephanie, to know I'm not going to repeat anything she said.
Oh, come off it, Joe. I haven't come over here to dig up some gossip. If Susie is telling lies, that means she's in trouble, and I want to help her.
If she needs help, I'm sure she'll ask you.
Just what do you know about Cagney McCleary, anyway?
I know that Susie is fond of him. I've met him. I've talked to him. I haven't spent enough time to form an impression. I've met his mother. She's a lovely...
Oh, I'm not talking about the man's mother. I'm talking about the man. I've only seen them together once. And you really could tell how he felt about her from the way he looked at her. I don't know. Maybe he isn't the father of her child. But maybe she could do a lot worse. At least he will protect her against Warren Carter. Don't you agree?
I do agree he cares for her, but what he does about that and how she responds to it is their business.
Well, they could be just a little confused.
What have you got up your sleeve?
Absolutely nothing. It's just that every now and then people might need a little bitty push to go in the right
Stephanie,
direction.
stay out of this. I mean it.
You told me to stay out of Susie's business once before, and it cost her $4 million. This time, I'm going to do things my way.
Dr. Friedman, it's always the same. I come here, I sit with Justine, I talk to her, but there's never the slightest sign. She doesn't move. Sometimes I feel like she's not even breathing. I don't feel like I'm doing any good. I feel helpless.
Oh, it's hard to know what to tell you. We don't know for sure whether a person in a coma is affected by continued human contact.
I feel like my coming here does me more good than it does Justine.
It's probably good that you're here. Sometimes when medicine throws up its hands in despair, the devotion of a caring person does what science can't.
Miracles happen, I know that. Sometimes when I think that there must be someone up there watching, I figure I'd be the last person in the world for Justine to wake up and talk to.
How about some cheese and crackers?
Oh, no thanks.
Well, if you don't feel like nibbling this time of night, that must be a great book.
Well, I don't know if it's good or not. I've been on the same page for the last 10 minutes.
Honey, what is it?
Oh, Aunt Jo, I'm so miserable. I've made a terrible mistake.
Hey, very few mistakes are irrevocable.
Everything is so complicated. I never should have let it get this far.
Why don't you just tell me what this is all about?
Remember Cagney McCleary?
Of course I do.
Well, not long after I found out I was pregnant, I told Cagney about it. I really wasn't planning to, but he's so easy to talk to, and he's so understanding that I found myself confiding in him.
It's mighty nice to have a friend like that.
He's wonderful. He told me he thought I'd make a beautiful mother, and he wanted to know what he could do to help. He was so supportive, and that was exactly what I needed.
You make him sound like a very special young man.
Oh, he is. But he's impulsive, too, and it gets him in all kinds of trouble.
What kind of trouble?
Well, see, not long after I told Cagney about the baby, I ran into Warren, and he started asking me all sorts of questions about the pregnancy. Well, I was very upset, and I was trying to get away from Warren, and Cagney walked in and saw what was happening. Well, he said he was the father. I mean, before I even knew he was there, he said, "Please leave Susie alone. I am the father of the child."
Did you deny it?
Well, I was going to, but I found myself confirming everything he said.
Well, that's certainly an effective way to shut Warren Carter up.
Oh, it was more than that. I mean, I couldn't hurt Cagney's feelings. And I wasn't going to embarrass him in front of Warren. It was such a noble gesture. And I was so touched by it. Warren isn't half the person Cagney is, so how could I stand there and tell him Cagney was lying?
But now you're not comfortable going along with it?
That's why I went away. I just couldn't deal with the confusion. I thought I could escape.
Look, honey, you know Cagney was here while you were gone. He was here a couple of times begging me to tell him where you were.
He said he made a spectacle of himself.
You had asked me not to tell anyone, so I didn't.
That's the incredible thing, though. He found me anyway. When I was at Stanfordville at the hospital applying for the job, Cagney was there visiting a sick friend. We met right outside the doctor's office. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah?
What makes you think about fate?
Oh, fate or love. You know, people who care deeply for each other find they're drawn together even though they're trying to go in opposite directions.
Cagney isn't in love with me.
You sure of that? He certainly behaves like a man in love, searching for you everywhere, rushing to your defense.
That's just Cagney. It's not love. That's his style. He was born a knight in shining armor. He can't help himself.
So you think this whole dramatic rescue caused more problems than it solved?
Aunt Jo, before I came back from Stanfordville, I decided to go on with the lie. In fact, today I told both Wendy and Stephanie that Cagney is the father of the baby. I feel like I'm swimming upstream and the lies go deeper and deeper.
Now listen, have you talked to Cagney about this?
Yes. He feels so guilty about it in the first place. I think he wants to get out. I don't think he wants to be involved. He's just too considerate to back out on me. This is a real mess, isn't it?
I'm afraid I got a friend of mine into trouble.
Something you can't fix?
I thought I was rescuing her from a dragon. I wind up throwing her to the wolves. I never thought about how it would affect her.
Foresight has never been your strong point.
Ah, but I have 20/20 hindsight.
Cagney, I know that you will find some way to make it right with your friend.
I feel lucky that she's still talking to me.
Well, surely she knows your intentions came from your very good, kind heart.
We know what road is paved with good intentions.
I remember the first time you rescued a girl in distress.
When was that?
Hogan, your brother, had bought me a very extravagant assortment of chocolates for Valentine's Day once, and Adair got into it. Well, she was only 3 or 4 at the time. And, oh, what she did to that beautiful heart-shaped box. And besides which, all the pieces that she didn't like were carefully ground into my bedroom rug. Oh, was right. Oh, I was on the warpath.
As only the cool, calm, collected Kate McCleary can be.
Hogan hadn't come home from school yet, but you and Adair were handy. And I went to the stairs and I bellowed up, "Whoever got into my chocolates is in trouble with a capital T." And then what do I see? Adair with more chocolate on her chin than you can imagine. She looked like she was growing a beard, but that didn't stop you. Oh, no. You looked at me very serenely and said, "I did it, Mama."
Come on, I don't believe that.
You don't remember that.
I don't recall too much from my wild kindergarten days.
Oh, I am here to tell you it's true. When it comes to heroic gestures, you had a very early start. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to make light of your present situation, but, Cagney, I know you, son. And I know that you will find a way to deal with this.
Thanks. You ready to go?
Now, just let me tell Sonny that I'm leaving, and I want to see that I left her some clean towels.
I'll take your bag out to the car.
Hello?
Hello, Susie?
Cagney? Is everything all right?
Sure. Why wouldn't it be?
Oh, I don't know. You never called me before.
Well, I just thought I'd call and see how you were doing. I'm about to take my mother to a retreat over in Lenox tonight, and I just wanted to call and say goodnight.
I'm glad you did. I've been thinking about you.
I'm sorry that our dinner didn't really get off the ground. Would you like to try again?
If you really want to.
The birds sing. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay. Thanks for calling.
Good night.
Good night.
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow.
Good night.
Good night.
Cagney? Cagney?
Oh, you're the lady who wants the ride.
Well, if it's not too much trouble, I don't want to interrupt anything.
I'm glad you're home safe. That's awful about Laurie Hughes.
You know, it really bothers me Jack Benton anchoring the news. You know, it gives me the creeps just to run into him at the station.
that be this time of night?
Don't answer it.
Well, I'll ask who it is. Who is it?
It's Cagney McCleary. If it's late, I'll go away.